Welcome to what is probably going to be the most difficult map in this run for a very long time. This map is mostly comprised of flyer-only water tiles, where the only form of movement for my grounded units is limited to these extremely small choke points. This wouldn't be much of a problem if it weren't for the fact that the enemies almost entirely have access to bows, javelins, and hand axes. This restricts almost any form of flyer cheese that you may try to use in a setup where guard stance is banned. There's luckily a dragon vein in the middle that turns all of the water into ice tiles. These ice tiles effectively turn this into a desert map, as it restricts the movement of every single unit on the map except for flyers, Takumi, and Kaden. Using the dragon vein is usually not recommended, but for reasons that I'll get into after the map starts, I basically have no choice but to use them. The clear condition for this map actually isn't that hard at all. All you have to do is have Corrin escape from the top side of the map, which you can have Tsubaki do. There isn't even a side objective of defeating the boss like in chapter 12 of Conquest, because the boss is Garen. Garen is a level 30 Norian king with insanely high stats. He has 33 strength, 29 defense, and 26 resistance. His high strength is made even higher with his 1 to 3 range, 21 might axe that gives him 10 crit and 20 dodge. The 1 to 3 range makes it so that I can't even apply auras safely. Everyone who has an aura will just get one shot. His defenses are also made even higher by having the dragon skin skill, which straight up cuts all damage in half. To make the matters worse, he then seals all of your stats by 4 with Draconic Hex. Right now, there isn't a single one of my units who can withstand even one hit from Garen. However, if I feed a lot into Corrin on this map, he'll be able to deal 1 damage and survive with 1 HP with his Dragon Stone. To make killing Garen go by faster, I've also equipped Dragon Fang for this mission. Let's begin. The first order of business is to kill the outlaw in the bottom right corner of the map, who's going to try and book it to the Draco shield in the chest. I need to kill him from 2 range, so I have Takumi go shoot him with the Fujin Yumi after getting refreshed by Azura to get there. This will secure the Draco shield for me, which Corrin is going to need for the Garen kill.
See? I win.
Obviously, it's dangerous for Takumi to stay this deep in enemy lines by himself, so I have Sakura use one of the rescue charges to save him. After Kaden moves out of the way, I have Oboro block the choke point with Hinata as her dual strike partner. Oboro is one of the best units for this map, since she has access to the guard Naginata, and is not weak to bows. By the way, if you're someone who gets scared easily by reinforcements, I suggest that you avert your eyes. Before we deal with the giant line of enemies, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about our new opponent. Starting with Laszlo, he starts at the same base stats that he does in Conquest 12, but he has an extra 5 points in HP, strength, defense, and resistance. That's not really the issue with him though. The biggest issue with Laszlo is the fact that he comes equipped with the Killing Edge, so he has an increased chance to land critical hits. As a mercenary, he's a lot less mobile than Xander and Perry, and he'll always prefer to use his rally when he can. This usually has him end up in the area near the chest by the time that I'm going to have to deal with him due to his pathing. If I'm not careful, he can get stuck back there for a while, and I could end up facing multiple high crit chance dual strikes. Due to random enemy movements, sometimes it's really hard to avoid. Most attempts had him get at least 1 attack in. Perry is much less threatening. She's mainly here to be a nuisance to Kaden, your flyers, or Silas. She's locked at 1 range and doesn't have any extra skills, so she isn't too threatening. The real challenge of this map is Xander. Thanks to Siegfried, Xander has 32 defense on top of his 1-2 ranged, high damaging weapon. He also hits very hard, so it's best to target his resistance stat with Corrin's Dragonstone. The problem with that is that Xander has Aegis. This has an 18% chance to have the damage dealt by tomes, dragonstones, shurikens, and bows. This is extremely bad for me, since the only units that can do any form of significant damage to him are Corrin with the Dragonstone, Takumi with the Fujin Yumi, and Orochi with her scrolls. Unfortunately, I just have to take the random chance here. Back over here, I have Oboro kill the knight in one round with a Forged Steel Naginata, courtesy of Reina.
Naturally.
Azura moves out of the way, so Kaden can serve as a more accurate dual strike partner for Hinata. Hinata also switches Oboro back to the guard Naginata, so she'll be able to survive the next enemy phase. Mozu drops Azura so Silas can finish off the outlaw that Hinata just weakened.
I won't let you die.
Now we can breathe easy.
After I move some units around, there isn't actually a lot I'm able to do outside of this little square, so for now I'll just end turn and let the enemies keep coming to me.
I'm ready.
Thanks to Azura's healing from having her 2 spaces away from Oboro on turn 1, she's able to survive this enemy phase with just 1 HP left.
My turn.
Thanks to Oboro's sealed defense, Silas is able to chip down the Great Knight with Kaden's dual strike. A crit doesn't even matter here, since Kaden doesn't do that much either. Hinata chips the Great Knight with Oboro for the sake of building more support points and getting a little bit more experience in. Oboro pairs up with Hinata to let Corrin finish off the Great Knight. He's able to kill with Silas's dual strike if he switches Silas to the Armor Slayer, assuming Dragon Fang or a crit doesn't activate, of course. Killing these promoted units are going to be the main source of experience for Corrin.
Thank you. This is my chance.
I once again can't really do anything except end turn now.
Here we go.
To make sure Hinata isn't attacked while paired up, I have Azura unpair Oboro and drop her. This also gives Sakura an opportunity to heal Oboro. I start this turn by having Silas attack the Cavalier. Then I can feed the kill to Hinata by using Corrin's dual strike.
Let's do this. Let's go. Need a hand?
Now that he's out of the way, I have Mozu attack the Outlaw, but first make sure that Corrin unequips his Dragonstone. I don't want her to kill it.
You'll be alright.
I need Corrin to move out of the way, as well as pair up with Tsubaki on this turn. To do this, I need to move Kaden to where Mozu was. This has created room for Orochi, who will finish off the Outlaw.
Very kind of you.
I now have Tsubaki fly Corrin to the Dragon Vein and use it. This is again not normally recommended, but soon every enemy on the map will become aggressive and pile up in a giant choke point, where Xander will eventually show up and kill even my tankiest units thanks to the no pair-up rule. Obviously, Corrin can't stay over there even if he could survive, so I have to use the second use of Rescue to get him back to safety. Oboro separates Tsubaki, so he isn't stuck to Corrin at the start of next turn. Azura and Sakura don't have anything to do, so they just get a little bit more experience for themselves. Kagero and Takumi are able to do something different. Thanks to Kagero coming equipped with a free Sting Shuriken, she's able to weaken the Great Knight near the stage by having Takumi drop her in range. This will set up a second kill for Corrin and get him another level up. Azura tells us to stop trying to route the map and leave. Sound advice for sure. Anyways, Corrin pairs up with Tsubaki so he's able to reach the Great Knight on this turn. Before he kills, he of course has to transfer Tsubaki away.
You'll be alright.
I want to kill the Cavalier as well, but I first make sure that the tile next to Corrin won't be in range of the fighter. Takumi can kill the Cavalier in one hit.
I'm with you. I hate to do this. Ha! I'm stronger than I look.
Kagero and Tsubaki also don't want to face any attacks on enemy phase, so she just drops him outside of enemy range. Kaden attacks the fighter that fought him last turn. He barely doesn't kill, but that's actually a good thing. It very easily sets up a kill for Orochi, who is pretty desperate for experience.
We've got this. Fortune favors me. Fates be praised.
After healing Kaden, Silas shelters him so Hinata can drop him outside of enemy range, since he isn't able to counter the Outlaw. Instead, I want to have Mozu fight the Outlaw on enemy phase by going adjacent to Silas and holding their Javelin. Not before she gets buffed from Azura, of course.
I won't let you die. We need each other. This could be tough. I'll protect you.
We have no choice. I'm here for you.
I have Kagero attack the fighter with Takumi's dual strike here. They don't kill, but there's a very real chance that one of the two will crit. If that were to happen, I actually ended up making two general strategies for what my next move would be.
Keep it together. I won't stand idle.
Since they didn't kill the fighter, I have Tsubaki go ahead and finish it off so Takumi can kill the Outlaw while staying adjacent to Kagero.
Not again.
We're under attack.
See? I win.
Corrin will simply move south to meet back up with the main group. Mozu finishes off the Outlaw that she fought on enemy phase. Silas and Hinata use their kodachis to chip the Cavalier and set up a kill for Oboro. Hinata's hit rate is slightly shaky here, and it is required to hit. He can get another chance when attacking with Oboro, but he'll retain the same hit rates since I want him to have the kodachi on enemy phase. I'm only bringing this up because it has killed an attempt of this clear.
I'll do my best.
Let's do this!
Orochi goes in the tile above Mozu, and Sakura makes sure that both of them are at full HP. In a circumstance where Takumi or Kagero crit the fighter, Tsubaki would go in this other fighter's range for the purpose of extra movement next turn. Since this didn't happen, the fighter is going to dual strike with the knight when it attacks Orochi. To account for this, Orochi received an HP tonic. I move Kaden next to Orochi to serve as a dual strike partner, as well as refresh Sakura so she can give Rally luck.
Together we shall prevail. Don't take all the glory! I've got your back!
Since Silas and Hinata were holding kodachis, the outlaw preferred to attack Oboro instead. This lets Hinata attack the outlaw from close range and use Oboro's dual strike. This unfortunately also has to hit.
What about me? Alright!
Oboro then uses Swap to be in range of the Great Knight so she can apply Seal Defense to it on enemy phase. Silas kills the knight with the Armor Slayer, and then Kaden will finish off the group by killing the outlaw that was paired up with it.
Whoa.
I have Tsubaki kill the fighter that dual strike for Orochi's knight. Before that, I want to mention that if this fighter was dead, I would instead have Takumi pair up with Tsubaki and have Tsubaki drop him in range of the Cavaliers. Now that I can't safely do this, Takumi will be getting less experience than he normally would on this chapter.
Let's do this. Thanks.
Kagero can use Takumi's immunity to the ice to move further down south. Azura needs to get Silas out of the Great Knight's range. To do that, she has to pair up with Mozu to reach him, and then Silas goes to the other side of her to drop Mozu.
What shall we do? Please remain calm.
You'll be alright. Let's do this!
There's still a giant row of enemies with 1-2 range access. I can have Takumi enemy phase some of them by having him kill the knight, which will put him at the edge of their ranges.
That went well. No dying, alright?
Corrin pairs up with Silas to reach the Great Knight. He obviously can't stay with Silas when killing it, so after taking the Armor Slayer from him, Corrin transfers them to Obero and uses Hinata's Dual Strike. Here, a lucky Dragon Fang proc would actually be ideal, since I'd prefer for Corrin not to be damaged. Since Corrin did get damaged, Sakura briefly goes in enemy range to heal him. Azura then sings to Sakura to put her out of enemy range and heal Obero, who will stay in enemy range.
This scum doesn't stand a chance!
Kaden and Tsubaki move out of the Outlaw's range to make sure that it attacks Takumi so that it'll die on the counterattack.
We stand together.
Good.
We're open!
I'll run your side.
Xander is now starting to get dangerously close to my units, so much so that I can't even fight in the area where Takumi is anymore. I instead have him go south to fight one of the Cavaliers.
Let's do this. Die already.
We also need to start being wary of Laszlo dual strikes. For now, Corrin can tank the enemies with the Dragon Stone since it gives him 10 dodge and very high defense.
No dying, alright?
Hinata and Obero finish off the other Cavalier from last turn.
I can do it.
The rest of my units can't really do anything except stay outside of enemy range. I tried to see if I could kill off the Outlaw with Silas, but he couldn't reach since I messed up my move order by moving Mozu before Azura. If I moved Azura first, Silas would be able to pair up with Mozu and get dropped in range of the Outlaw. Since this wasn't possible anymore, I have him and the rest of my units go south to try and stay as far away from Xander as possible, since he will one-shot almost everyone in my army.
We have no choice.
We've got this. Let's finish this. Let's get to it.
This is gonna hurt.
I'll try my best.
There are cases where Xander moves in a different way and goes to the right. In situations like that, this is when I would try to kill Laszlo and I would be able to kill him without any problems. Unfortunately, I can't do this now, so I instead have to focus on the other enemies first. Takumi first kills off the strongest of them, the fighter. I now have to be very careful about who kills these outlaw. No matter what, my units are all going to face crit against Laszlo, but I can reduce this chance by either using bulkier units or units that have weapons that give dodge to reduce the chances of him getting crits. Kaden kills the first outlaw since he one-rounds it without any assistance. I'm taking a quick moment here to deal with Xander as well. Obviously, with this formation, trying to actually kill him would spell certain death for our army, since the other enemies would be able to pick off my weakened units. What I can do instead is have Corrin lure Xander away by going in his range, where he'll be able to tank one attack with the Dragonstone at full HP. To do this, I first need to get Corrin to full health by having Sakura heal him, and to do that, I first need to move Silas out of the way so she has a spot to stand. While I have Silas move, I let him go and kill the second outlaw with Caden's dual strike.
Yes.
I obviously don't want Silas to continue using the Kodachi on enemy phase, so I have Kagero pair up with Oboro to give her an extra movement stat and switch Silas to the Brass Naginata to get him more defense. Now Corrin can get healed and pair up with Tsubaki to go in range of Xander. He is guaranteed to always survive one attack from Xander, but that will also put him under half health, which will activate Vow of Friendship. With it active, Laszlo will be barely unable to kill Silas even with the ×4 crit multiplier, but that's only assuming that Xander attacks before Laszlo. I'm not too familiar with how birthright targeting AI works, but to my knowledge, it's just as random as all of the other enemy movements so far.
I'll do my best.
Let's finish this.
This calls for a spell.
Azura sings to Takumi because I was curious on how much damage he'd do to Laszlo with Silas's dual strike. Definitely not worth risking though. In hindsight, Laszlo might have gone for Silas first because he has crit against him, and Xander doesn't have crit against Corrin. Nice level.
Big brother, let's do this.
And of course, it wouldn't have mattered anyways. Since Corrin is still at full HP, I'm able to keep putting him in Xander's range, which will guarantee that he'll keep heading towards Corrin and not decide to go towards my other units, which he has sometimes done even if Corrin was his closest target.
I'll protect you. Stay calm.
My units down here will finish Laszlo off while making sure they still stay outside of Xander's range. Takumi can kill Laszlo with Kagero's dual strike while everyone else just wait.
Let's get to it.
We are not alone.
We're under attack. I can help.
I am a lover, not a fighter.
No need to worry. We won't lose.
Xander is now safely away from my other units, so I can focus on killing off the other enemies. I first make sure that only Xander and the knights near Garen are marked to make sure I know where the safe zones are. For Perry and her group, I want to have them get a little closer before fully dealing with them. I have Oboro go in their range with the guard Naginata so I can easily kill them off.
Let's try our hardest.
We can do this together.
We've got this.
This is nothing.
Here we go.
We are not alone.
Don't be afraid.
Corrin pairs up with Tsubaki again and flies north. I need to make sure that Xander isn't able to attack him now.
I'm always ready.
Now I have this giant line of enemies that I can deal with all on this turn. Takumi kills off Perry to make room for someone to kill the outlaw.
My bow is yours.
I'm so ready for this.
Oboro is able to kill the outlaw, but her hit rates are pretty awful. Instead, I want to have Kaden do it, but he's paired up with Silas. Luckily, I can have Oboro unequip her weapon and let Kaden transfer Silas over to Oboro, so she isn't able to dual strike with any influence stats.
We're gonna win.
Let me at him.
We can't lose.
Likewise, I can have Oboro kill the Cavalier by herself, but she needs to give away Silas first. Kaden can't unequip his weapon, so instead, Oboro takes the Beast Stone from his inventory so he still won't be able to attack with his influence stats. This will create room for someone to stand above Oboro and be able to kill the final Cavalier. For the final Cavalier, Azura sings to Takumi so he can go above Oboro to kill it from 2 spaces away.
Lose.
Keep it together. I was doing just fine.
Corrin continues to stay outside of Xander's range while being paired up with Tsubaki this time. This will make it so Xander wants to start heading south towards my other units. I'm not entirely sure who exactly he prioritizes going for, but he definitely doesn't like someone in that bottom area.
What shall we do?
I've got your back.
For the final 2 generics that are moving, I can set up to kill them on enemy phase. I can kill the outlaw by having Takumi go in its range, and Kagerou's pair-up makes it so there isn't any risk of Xander trying to go north again because of the fact that Takumi isn't 1 tile outside of his range. Tsubaki flies over to the edge of the knight's range, where he'll be able to kill on the counterattack with Corrin's dual strike. The rest of my units are going to spend a few turns heading north so they can get better positioning to fight Xander.
Oh no! Here we go. I'll protect you.
All right, come on.
How troubling.
Let's do this. Let me try. Yes, perfect.
We're under attack.
Ha! I'm stronger than I look.
These next 2 turns are also spent setting up to kill Xander. Most importantly, I make sure that Corrin is at full HP, but other than that, I'm just trying to get my units in a good position.
Alright, come on!
Please remain calm.
I'm here to help.
We stand together.
No mercy.
This scum doesn't stand a chance!
Please, accept my help. Whoa. Let's get started.
I'm here with you. Delighted to help you.
Let me at him. Ready for this?
Let's go.
I'll protect you.
Don't be afraid.
Come on! Let's do this! I'm on your side!
This could be tough. Oh no!
On this turn, we can finally start killing Xander. To start, I have Corrin attack him with the Dragon Stone and use Kagero's Dual Strike. Kagero is actually very important for this kill, since her Dual Strike debuffs Xander's defense and resistance by 4, as well as lowering his strength with the Steel Shuriken. On top of all this, we're slightly countering Xander's Aegis with my Dragon Fang. If the game is unfair to you, be unfair back.
On my way!
Sakura heals Corrin and then Azura sings to him so he can attack again.
You have my support.
I'm with you.
Here we go.
This is my chance.
I'm now able to get the Xander kill with quite literally anyone in my army. While it is probably the smarter idea to give it to someone who isn't Corrin, like Orochi or Oboro, I thought it would be better to still feed it to Corrin by having Silas shelter sing Corrin with Azura a second time. I'll explain my reasoning for this once we start having to deal with Garen, since that's gonna take a very long time.
I'll protect you.
We can do this.
How could I be so careless?
The rest of my units start heading south to deal with the 3 knights near Garen.
So ready for this.
All right, come
I'll
on.
protect you.
A hero's work
You
is
look
never
tough.
done.
Let's play.
On this turn, my units continue heading south, but importantly, I'm going to have Kagero pair up with Kaden so she can reach the chest containing the Draco Shield. This will be given to Corrin since he isn't able to survive a hit from Garen without it yet.
I'm with you.
I'll do my best.
I have faith in you.
Allow me.
This should be interesting. I won't let you get hurt.
For the knights, it was all just a matter of who I wanted to give the kill to. The main 2 candidates were Mozu and Orochi, but I decided to give the extra training to Mozu since I'll be using her more in the next chapter.
You're not alone.
I won't let you die.
This is what we've trained for.
We can't lose. Here we go. I'm ready. Is that what
shall we do?
I'm ready. No need to worry. Huh? I'll protect you.
To kill the knight, I need to give Silas back the Armor Slayer and have Mozu kill with his Dual Strike. That alone isn't strong enough to kill the knight, so I have to weaken it first. I have Silas do that with the Kodachi.
A hero's work is never done.
Everything will be fine. We can do this together. To the rescue!
You're strong.
Oh no!
This is gonna hurt.
Trust me.
Since this knight attacked Mozu, it will immediately die next turn when I have her attack with Silas's dual strike again.
Let me help you.
Together we shall prevail. It's not over yet.
For the final knight, I give the kill to Orochi so she can reach level 8 before the map ends.
What shall we do? This scum doesn't stand a chance!
Let me at him. You owe me.
Delightful!
I'm now set up to kill Garen. Corrin is able to do 1 damage on enemy phase with his Dragonstone, and then we'll have to retreat for 4 turns every hit to get healed and get rid of Draconic Hex. While this happens, I'll go ahead and talk about some plans I have for the later chapters of this run. The first thing that might be on people's minds is why I spent so much investment into Corrin for this chapter. My reasoning behind this is partly so Corrin has enough stats to survive a hit from Garen, but also so Corrin is able to take a backseat for a good chunk of the rest of the early game. I want to try and get Corrin promoted before chapter 15, and I'll have him go to level 20 to do so. Unfortunately, this is Birthright, so he isn't going to get access to tomes from Nor Noble, but he will be able to temporarily use staves as well as provide very strong dual strikes for other units. Giving him the Draco Shield also has its own uses too. Since this is Birthright, enemies are willing to attack you even if they know that they can't do damage to you. Corrin doesn't have a defense boon, so having this as a way to stack defense on him is very nice. It can also be used to bait more enemies into attacking his dual strike partner, which will prove to be useful almost immediately next map. While we're on the topic of Corrin, I want to go more in depth of why I chose Mercenary for him. I said in chapter 6 that it was for his wife, but that doesn't actually mean it's because his wife wants to be in Hero or Bow Knight. It's actually because Bow Knight gives Corrin rally skill, and there will be eventually times where I want Corrin and his wife to do fighting on enemy phase. Enemy phase is normally a terrifying part of every map, since there's not only the risk of dying, but you can also have a decent chance to miss your attacks completely. This won't actually become relevant in a very long time, but when a time does come where Corrin has to dual strike with his chosen partner, they are going to want that extra skill. This is also going to transfer over to Kana eventually, where she can become a very good rally bot thanks to her parents. That's why I'm spending one of the 3 remaining heart seals until chapter 21 on Corrin. I want to take a moment to mention that Sakura is going to be promoting this map. Her promotion options are between Omioji and Priestess. They both have similar stats, but between the two, I think Priestess will be a better option for her since she'll be able to get renewal from it. Sakura is not in a very bulky class right now, and Priestess helps fix that a little bit. If I wanted to, I could also go Omioji for both a cooler looking outfit and rally magic, but I don't think that'll be necessary. Besides, her strength is genuinely good. She only has a 40% strength growth in Priestess, but she gained 6 strength by promoting to it, which isn't terrible. Also, having the ability to finally dual strike will feel really nice.
I'll try my best.
It may be interesting to know who the other 2 heart seals are going to. One of the units that I'll be giving a heart seal to is Kaze. Kaze may seem like a weird choice given how limited my heart seals are, but it's very important that Kaze passes down a decent skill to his daughter. The decent skill that I've chosen for her is Vantage. Vantage is going to shortly start proving to be an incredible skill for this run, since it allows for setups that will let units reliably enemy phase units that would otherwise be genuine threats. We're even going to see a small taste of how strong Vantage can be in Chapter 13. One of the side challenges that I've added to this run is that I'm not allowed to turtle unless it's cases like this map where there isn't much of an option. This is mainly to challenge myself, since one of my favorite things to do in Fire Emblem is actually figure strats out. This side challenge, while not strictly necessary, keeps me from becoming lazy to the point where it turns into Rev again, where I'm just inching my way through maps. I want to try and avoid another Chapter 13 incident, and Vantage Sweeping lets me do that. Anyways, the second unit that I'm going to give the heart seal to is Felicia. If you thought Kaze was a weird choice, then Felicia just sounds like a straight up stupid idea. I don't actually want to spoil why I want to reclass Felicia for now, but just know that I do have a legitimate reason to do it. Speaking of Felicia though, where even is she? She hasn't been deployed since Chapter 8, and she's only gained 2 levels in the 3 maps that she was deployed. Unfortunately, due to the low deployment slots of Birthright, and the fact that you get so many units at once, there just wasn't a lot of room to keep all of my units adequately trained up. You can even see that with Orochi, who has only just reached level 8 by the end of this chapter, and will have to reach level 10 at a later point. The only compromise that I could come up with is just benching some units. Specifically, I prioritize benching the units that aren't currently working on any supports. These units being Felicia and Azura mainly. While it is true that Azura has only been benched for a couple maps so far, she's soon going to start really taking a back seat until her partner, Jacob, arrives. The same is happening here with Felicia, except her time on the bench has started much earlier since Azura is more important for a lot of the early game maps, and even required if you want to recruit Takumi in Chapter 10. Felicia is just waiting for her chosen partner to show up, which is Ryoma, whose first available map is on Chapter 14. One last thing I want to mention is that you may notice that I've started to just continuously end turn before fighting Garen again. That's because I completely forgot to buy extra healing staves for this map, making it go by a lot more slowly. On the bright side, this does stop Sakura from being completely overleveled and overpowered. I wouldn't want that since I still plan on using her for a few more maps and would rather actually gain at least some experience while doing so. She may even end up coming back on the team after everyone's met their marriage requirements, since I find her just a fun unit to use. This is also why she's been passively getting support with Hana, since to use her long turn, I would like for her to use a Vantage build. I'd say that she's a pretty good Vantage mage in this game, considering the fact that she has very high growths in magic, and her time in Master of Arms isn't that awful, since her strength stat is genuinely very good. Anyways, that's all I have to say for now. See you next time.
Let's do this.